Mob Psycho 100, a masterpiece of emotion, action, and personal growth. Anime fans are no strangers to overpowered protagonists that try to become the strongest in their verse. But Mob Psycho 100 stands out in the best way possible. Created by One, or One, the creator of One Punch Man, this series isn't just about insane psychic battle. It's a deep emotional story about progression of oneself, self-discovery, human connection, and the struggles of adolescence. With its unique animation, well-developed characters, and the balance of humor and hype and action, Mob Psycho 100 is easily one of the best shonens of this past decade. Now listen to me guys, no story is perfect, but this one is damn near close to that. So the story has a unique take on power and growth. As I said before, it's not the typical Dragon Ball Z type of show where the protagonist and everyone around him try to be the strongest of their verse. It's more complicated than that, it's more human than that. At its core, Mob Psycho 100 follows Shigeo Mob Kageyama, a middle school student with godlike psychic abilities. However, instead of reveling in his strength, Mob seeks a normal life, one where he doesn't rely on his power to define his worth. As said before, the series flips the typical protagonist of a shonen trope, the one that is always trying to be the strongest guy in the universe. But instead, Mob's greatest challenge is learning how to handle his emotions as a normal human being and develop as a person. This theme of emotional control symbolizes in his percents, from 1, 2, 3, all the way through 100. When Shigeo's emotions reach the peak, his psychic powers spiral out of control, which always result in destruction. And each of the 3 seasons resembles Mob's personal growth. Season 1 introduces us to Mob's world and his struggle to balance out the normal life with the insane amount of power. Season 2 expands on his emotional depths, his friendships, and his role in the society around him. Season 3 brings everything full circle, forcing Mob to confront his deepest fears and truly decide which person he wants to be. It's a beautifully written coming-of-age story that is disguised to be this shonen anime but a manga. But after all, it's a character-driven story, because you want to see the characters grow, you want to know where they're gonna end up being. So that's why we call it character driven. It's not so much about the story itself, about the fights and about the world. It's much about Shigeo and his friends and how they're gonna grow together, and his enemies that turn into his friends later on the story. That's what drives the story. But as I told you like 2 seconds ago, Mob Psycho 100 is a character driven story. 100%. See that one? You like that one? Here we have 4 characters that I love the most about this show. First of all, Mob Kageyama Shigeo, the perfect subversion of an overpowered anime protagonist. Mob, as I told you, is not your typical shonen protagonist. Despite his god tier power, he doesn't go out of his way to express himself and bust up these muscles. He's an awkward, kind-hearted middle schooler who doesn't know how to express his emotions clearly. He doesn't know whether or not they want to be friends with him. He doesn't know how to talk to the girl he likes. He is kind of shy when everybody's bullying him, containing himself instead of bursting out with power. His biggest enemy is not an evil villain who comes up from nowhere trying to destroy the world. His biggest enemy is himself, his emotions, and how he deals with them. And that's probably one of the most human protagonists in all of anime and shonen manga. This is what makes Mob an incredibly relatable shonen main character. He struggles with expressing himself, trying to find his way through life, through school, how he's gonna deal with everything that happened in his past today. He wants to find all of this confidence about his abilities. To him, his abilities are just a burden to hurt somebody else, which is kind of true if you look at it at real world aspects. If somebody tries to bully you or tries to make fun of you and you just go beating the shit out of them, well, that isn't gonna end up well for you. That's why you gotta control your emotions. His story and journey is about leveling up his emotional intelligence, to not have to rely on his psychic powers for everything. Everything he went through with his brother trying to convince him that he's not a monster, this just makes him as human as possible, and that is what we love about Shigeo Mob. Number 2, Arataka Reigen, the best mentor in all of anime? No, he's basically not a mentor whatsoever. But let me explain to you his character. If Mob Shigeo is the heart of the series, then Reigen is the soul. A con artist pretending to be this powerful, psychic, majestic god, Reigen is initially a fraud who uses Mob's psychic powers for his benefits of his business. However, as the series progresses, we see Reigen also progress. Despite his dishonesty about his abilities and power, he actually gives pretty good advice to Mob. Actually, he gives him some of the best advice in all of anime, teaching Mob that power doesn't define a person. Beneath the scummy exterior, Reigen is genuinely caring and a wise figure, making him one of the most well-written anime characters in this generation. You have the bad side and you have the good side. What makes that? Human. That's what they were going for, and I think they executed that perfectly. Third up in the list, we have Teru Hanazawa, a psychic who begins as this arrogant, strong and fearsome foe that nobody touches in the school. As he's coming up against Mob, he gets humbled down to earth. His psychic power were strong, but nowhere close to Mob's. Mob wiped the floor with Hanazawa, making him less than what he actually thought, making him human again, because he was this high up. He was thinking that he was a god, he was thinking that nobody could rival him, he was thinking that he's the only one to have psychic power in the entire world, until he got humbled. Then, when he got humbled, he started thinking. He started using his brain. He started thinking like, maybe this guy isn't that bad. Maybe he was trying to calm me down because I was on the rampage. I did this terrible stuff to my schoolmates and he was the one to stop me. And last but not least, we have Ekubo Dimple, a kind of trash spirit that Mob once fought in the beginning of the story, getting rid of him quite easily, but he then develops on to become this little figure, kind of trying to take over Mob's body or trying to take over Mob's power. But in the midst of that journey, he becomes Mob's best friend. He's hilarious, he's very supportive of Mob, and the final arc speaks for itself. You know, when a person becomes really angry and tries to go out of their way to make something big, he's angry at everything, he's trying to make something happen, he's trying to fight with everybody, and then at the last second he realizes, oh damn man, I was wrong. Like, I went through with my entire revenge plan. I'm gonna take over his body, I'm gonna take over the entire nation, I'm gonna be the strongest spirit in the world. But then Mob convinces him. He's like, mate, I'm not gonna fight you. We are friends. I'm definitely not gonna fight you, okay? You gotta come to your senses. And when he finally did, that was the best moment of the entire series for this character Dimple. And by the way, this is not every character in Mob Psycho which I like. Probably every one of these characters is likable. Even the villains and the side characters had a lot of depth to them. And I love this story for giving every character their own unique stories. Animation. Studio Bones Magnum Opus. If there's one thing Mob Psycho is famous for, it is for the fantastic, mind-blowing animation that it has, especially in season 1 and 3. Studio Bones pushes the limit of 2D animation, creating some of the most fluid, dynamic, most creative sequences of animation in all of anime. The uses of hand-drawn animation, digital effects, and experiment styles makes every fight look unique. The psychic battles are these visual masterpieces using all types of colors, distortion, the explosive energy to capture this overwhelming display of power. Even outside the fights, when the person is talking, you can see how he's talking and how they're portraying them to be human. Not like other shows where they're just moving their mouth just like this. That level of animation is probably the most important, because we all know when it's gonna be a fight, you gotta animate it perfectly, especially if it's a hype fight. You gotta animate it perfectly, you gotta make it smooth, you gotta make it flashy, everything. But when it all dulls down to the school moments, or to him walking home, or to him just thinking about the past or something, then that's the moments where you gotta show the beautiful and artistic animation. Because of that, the series does not get boring. We go over to the sound and music of this masterpiece. The soundtrack, first of all, is phenomenal. Roll it, bro, roll it! Just a couple of seconds, Arifo, just a couple, roll it! If everyone is not special. It is fantastic, one of the most hype-ass soundtracks in the entire anime community, in the entire anime space, in the entire everything, even like movies and everything. That song, that theme of Mob is absolutely incredible. The openings are all fantastic. Every single opening, visually and musically, it is fantastic. Maybe not the music that I want to hear like every single day, but I truly remember that I loved every single one of these openings. And last but not least, the voice acting. And you're gonna think I am joking, but I love the sub and the dub equally. They both did an amazing job of capturing the character and the depth of his voice when he's screaming Ritsu. You feel for the character even in Japanese and even in the English dub. They made it perfect. Hats off, because we always say hats off to the sub. Now I'm gonna actually say hats off to the dub, because they actually made it a little bit like this, you know, made it very close to the sub actually. Here is my final thoughts about Mob Psycho 100, one of my favorite series to this day. Mob Psycho 100 is more than just an anime. It's an experience. It combines jaw-dropping animation, which had me jumping out of my seat. Like, you know, you have seen those solo leveling reaction, maybe the One Piece reaction, maybe Black Clover if the animation gets too good, you know. You have seen me jump out of my chair, and I did that throughout the Mob Psycho 100 journey. It has heartfelt human storytelling and profound themes that is truly relatable and good. My final rating for Mob Psycho 100 is a 9 out of 10. It's a complete story that has every type aspect you want in a shonen anime battle manga. Comedy, action, relatable characters, incredible power, incredible villains. The only complaint I have about this show is that it's too short. That is the only complaint. I mean, 3 seasons kinda seem long, but nah man, you should have milked the cow a little bit. One or One, the author, you should have milked the cow a little bit. Just like you milking One Punch Man, you should have milked Mob Psycho. That's just my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, leave a like button, hit the subscribe as well, and press the bell notification to get notified if we do another one of these videos. And thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, leave a subscribe in this channel, and hit the bell to get notified when we upload once more. So haki review out.